Hello, everyone. This is Archana Gedam. Thanks a lot for joining today's call. Today, AIC is paying tribute to Bharat Ratna Dr. Babasaheb, the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. Our salutations and gratitude to the great visionary, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The name in itself is so powerful that with just the name, his dedication, his sacrifices, his entire life journey comes in front of our eyes. Baba Sahib is still alive in the mind and hearts of his followers, who every year pay tribute to him on December 6th. There's a lot more to learn from him. He had done amazing work, led a perfect example on how a community should progress, breaking all the boundaries and bondages behind and marching towards the dignity and upliftment. Several people in many lifetimes may not be able to achieve what Baba Sahib had achieved in just one lifetime. He was a crusader of social equality and justice. The constitution drafted by him aimed at bringing about a social revolution in the country. It provided the citizens with the freedom of thought, advocated rights for women, and bridged the gap between the different classes, giving the freedom from the unfairness practiced by many. Today, I will request Sanjay Kumarji, the president of AIC, to introduce our guest, R.S. Praveen Kumarji, a former IPS officer. Praveenji is a hard-working social activist known for bringing about a radical change in the educational system of social welfare and tribal schools. Today, we will also recognize AIC-sponsored Authors Lab award ceremony. Professor Gaurav ji will be hosting this segment. Maheshji will be giving a talk and Rakeshji will be doing the vote of thanks. We will also have a question and answer session after Dr. Praveenji's speech. So our wonderful audience, if you have any question, please feel free to type it in the chat box or raise your digital hand after the speech. Now, may I please request Sanjay ji to introduce R.S. Praveen Kumar ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Archana, for beautiful introduction. Hi, everyone. On behalf of Ambedkar International Center, I welcome you all to this online event. We are paying tribute to Baba Sahib. Once Dr. Ambedkar said, life should be great rather than long. Baba Sahib left us early, but left behind thousands years of worth of legacy in the form of teaching. The path he has shown to the humanity will make not only India, but entire world a better place to live, where every human will be treated equal and live life with the dignity. It makes me proud that Dr. Ambedkar International Center and all other Ambedkarite organizations in USA are passionately working to bring Baba Sahib legacy to United States of America. We are working to educate Americans about Ambedkarism and caste-based discrimination. Glad that corporate world and the universities started recognizing the caste issue and taking corrective action. It makes me proud that not only the victim community is raising the voice against it, but also communities from India diaspora, including American community itself, joining hand to eliminate this evil system. While we are fighting against caste discrimination, same time we are taking Baba Sahib literature to academician. AIC Author Lab initiation is one of them. You will hear more about them in a few minutes. To take Baba Sahib legacy further, we have initiated the first Dr. Ambedkar Memorial Project near Washington, D.C. at 13.2 acre land that we acquired in 2013. So we are making a memorial over there in near Washington, D.C. We are working on getting Baba Sahib statue installed soon, followed by a memorial building. Please, I would request, please continue your support. Soon we will have our dream project in USA. As Baba Sahib said, unity is the key to fight against any discrimination. We have launched AIC Global Connect membership program. It is free and anyone can from anywhere can join this membership. We are asking very limited information to make this whole process super easy. This effort will help us uniting followers globally. Please go to www.ambedkarinternationalcenter.org and join us using AIC Global Connect link. I urge, please do so. I'm going to put that link over there on the chat box also, and we will float in different uh, WhatsApp group. So please, it's very minimal information, so you can provide your uh, information and become a member. Okay, Manyvar Kasi Ramji, no doubt that Babasaheb has a million of followers, but there are very few who took Ambedkar movement to next level and made a huge difference in people's life. We know uh, Manyvar Kasi Ramji is one of them. After him, a vacuum was created. I personally think that vacuum was created. Now we see a ray of hope with former IPS officer, activist, social worker, and leader, Dr. R.S. Praveen, who recently joined politics. While Dr. Praveen was in government service, he did many successful experiments that transformed many lives. Initiatives like transformation of social welfare residential school and SWARIOs, social welfare areas, a, a payback society movement was one of them. Honestly, I'm very truthful. Honestly, being from North India, I did not know much about Dr. Praveen till I met a girl. Her name was Purna Malawat. At AIC Center, she came and visited AIC Center in 2018. Purna is a girl from Telangana state of India, and she is youngest female of the world who climbed Mount Everest. She told me the story, and later I watched a biographical movie of her. Movie name was Purna Courage Has No Limit, directed by Rahul Bose. Rahul Bose was the one who played the role of Dr. R.S. Praveen. I would recommend, please watch this movie. It is available on Amazon Prime. It is based on true event. While Dr. Praveen Kumar's dedication and hard work transformed a simple travel girl to highest achiever. That was so impressive. You know how Dr. Praveen has what Praveen has done. Dr. Praveen has changed so many lives. When I started studying Dr. Praveen more, I believe that I started, loving him more. How he does, he did work, how he changed the life of many people. Dr. Praveen did master in public administration from Harvard. He has been awarded the president's police medical medal from Matriz and also awarded Telangana Excellence Award by Government of Telangana. Dr. Praveen is a gem and he will keep signing whichever field he chooses. Friends, our world is going through a very tough time. Division, hate, discrimination in the name of caste and religion, and misuse of laws are at the peak. We need to fight together to, to eliminate this and towards Babasaheb mission bringing equality and fraternity. Keep up. I would request, Praveenji, please fight and we are with you. I would also request Dr. Praveen, please visit our Ambedkar Center in USA. Whenever you get chance, it will be our great pleasure too. I know our participants are really waiting to listen Dr. Praveen. So without further ado, I am inviting Dr. R.S. Praveenji. Thank you. Jai Bhim.
Thank you very much, Sanjay ji. I have no words to describe my deep sense of gratitude to you for You are very well researched, very affable, and then very wonderful introduction today. Thank you very, very much. I feel really honored. So I also thank Mr. Ramakrishna, a friend across Atlantic, for introducing me to the Ambedkar International Center again. And I know quite a few participants who are in this conference who have met me earlier when they came to India on some research work, and then I know them very well. And I say my hi to all of them, and then a very good evening, and then a big, big, big J beam to all of you. Friends, today has been a very, very hectic day. So I just landed in Hyderabad International Airport after traveling for about 500 kilometers by road to inaugurate, or rather, I would say, to unveil the statue of Babasaheb Dr B.R Ambedkar in a village called Vemulapalli in state of Andhra Pradesh across the border. So it was really, really a nice experience, and then thousands of people have attended that meeting, as well as the unveiling of Babasaheb's huge statue, in fact. So very inspiring indeed. So it was not just a statue, but also kind of fountains, and then a lot of sayings of B.R. Ambedkar on engraved on the granite stones, and then neatly placed around the statue, visible to all the public. And then you have musical fountains, and then the very wonderful fountains, and probably evening it would look much more beautiful in a village, in the village. So it was really a nice and memorable occasion today. So, and it is so coincidental that today, in the same evening, I am addressing all of you, from different continents on, the subject called subject on the contribution and the life of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and the road ahead for all of us. Thank you very much for this opportunity again. So, friends, as you know, I have been a very, very hardworking civil servant for 26 years, and then I had to put in my papers on July 19th, 2021, to take Baba Saheb's mission further ahead, with all my energies, and with all the sincerity, with all the honesty, and with all the support that is available from every one of you under the sun. So it was a huge responsibility, and it was a huge, a big decision for a guy like me, with no huge material support, except for the support of the friends network like you. So it was a huge decision, and then I had still 7 years of active government service left, approximately 7 years of active government service left, and then, but I still thought that every minute is very precious in furthering the vision, and then the realizing the dreams of Parama Puja Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and then by trading the path of Manyavar Sri Kanshiramji. So I thought it is a moral responsibility. I thought it is ethical responsibility. I thought it is historic necessity. I thought, if not me, who? If not now, when? What Rabbi Hillel said, the same thing. If not me, who? Then if not now, when? So when I found that calling, so I did not waste, I did not want to waste even a minute. So that's why I drafted my letter in a couple of hours, and after that I submitted the send button, and then the email landed in the government, and within 24 hours my resignation has been accepted. So the path before me was to join there are many mainstream parties, like you have Bharatiya Janata Party, which is ultra rightist party, and then you have Congress Party, probably centrist, and then a little center to left, sometimes center to right, sometimes. Then you have local parties, regional parties, and then, but I thought, if I have to derive the sense of satisfaction, I think I should be joining the party which is inspired by the ideology of Baba Saheb. So the party is none other than Bahujan Samaj Party. I found it to be extremely closer to my ideas, to my vision, and then to my goals. So that's why I joined Bahujan Samaj Party, and then this is my probably 110th day, 110 days in Bahujan Samaj Party, and then every day has been really really exciting. So far, I've traveled about 12,000 kilometers, addressed about 85 to 90 meetings, and physically, physically directly spoke to about 10 lakh people approximately. So far we have a population of 3.77 crores in Telangana, and we have about I spoke to about 10 lakh people so far. So anyway, that's all about politics, and then politics go on like this, and then it's an endless game, and then sometimes it's a game of uncertainties, and then sometimes it's really game of compromises, but that apart. So our vision is to protect the dreams, and then further the dreams of Babasaheb. Now the point is, why are the, like, many of us are under the erroneous notion that politics is not our many of us, when I say many of us who are educated, illiterate, and the people who are away from education, people who have been kept away from education conspiratorially, they are reasonably clear. They can get easily convinced when you say political power is a master key according to Babasaheb. But the educated class is unfortunately is not really convinced, or they are either confused, or they are finding alternatives to this and alternatives to that, and then which is absolutely not acceptable according to me. So I might look little dogmatic, I'm sorry about it, but this is absolutely whatever Babasaheb said 50 years ago, or 70 years ago, or 80 years ago, even today it is absolutely true, relevant. It is not only true now, but it is relevant forever. I would tell you why. See, without political power, you will always be on the fringes. I have seen politics as a bureaucrat. I have seen politics as a student. I've seen a lot of my relatives are going through the politics, and then they have been on they have been on the beneficiary list of the political programs. But let me tell you, as long as you are away from the center of the power, as long as you are away from the corridors of the power, as long as you remain as a beneficiary of the programs designed and executed with clinical precision by the ruling classes, you will never be able to repair, you will never be able to achieve what our founding fathers wanted. Right? So political power is the ultimate power. So many of our educated classes, they think that we can still there's nothing wrong in being philanthropic. There's nothing wrong in helping others. There's nothing wrong in giving a scholarship to students who are in need. Absolutely, we should be doing it. However, in addition to that, one of the most important non-negotiable responsibilities of all those people who claim to be Ambedkarites, and then who claim to be beneficiaries of vision of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, is political education. And when I say political education, it is not a political education with short-term goals. No, we should have political education with a long-term goals in view. Let's say in 2050, where do you want your communities to be? In 2075, where do you want your communities to be? Where do you want your grandchildren to be? Where do you want the millions of people who are yet to born in this country? Where do you want them to be? So if you don't have that clarity, then your political education will be lopsided, and then you will sheepishly start singing start falling into the trap of the parties which have been exploiting us for ages. So that's one of the reasons why I thought I should join a party which is absolutely based on the philosophical foundations and the praxis developed by Manevar Sri Kanshiram. So yeah, that is what attracted me towards BSP. So political education is extremely important. Let us not make mistake. So this is going to be a horrendous mistake today if we have a generation which is politically confused. I'm telling you very honestly, this has been my experience. They don't know whom to vote for. They don't know why are they voting for the parties which they have been voting. We don't have discussions in our homes as to whom to vote for. We don't have discussions in our homes as to what is the ideology, political ideology of a particular party. We don't know why some schemes are being designed and why schemes are not being designed. Why we are not able to get the budgets what we want from the budgets. Like for example, I'm staying in Telangana. In Telangana, we have 1.5 lakh crores budget every year, and then in spite of having scheduled caste sub-plan, you get only peanuts as budgets. So we are always at the mercy of the finance, and then finance is always in the hands of chief minister, who by default who belongs to the oppressed oppressive classes. When I say oppressive, the classes which have been exploiting us for ages. So when you don't have that post, when you don't have a seat in that center of power, or when you don't have the space around the table, when you don't have a chair around the table on which the conversations take place about allotting of money, then what's the use? No amount of your philanthropic activity will be able to help, and that's just a tiny drop in the ocean of welfare. Just tiny drop. So that's point number one, my dear friends. So I wanted to be very blunt on that, and then because our communities have suffered for 3,000 years, we can't afford to have this kind of laid back and then linear approach. We need to have an exponential approach in our thinking. So even if it causes a little bit of collateral damage, let be it. So it doesn't matter. But we have to be very clear on what we have to achieve, and we need to have roadmaps, and then we need to have kind of targets, and then the other strategies to achieve the targets. So then the number two thing is very important, which looks a little controversial. I think we should be very clear on what is our identity. Should we accept the identity that is imposed upon by the oppressive classes, that is exploiters, or should we define our own identity? My point is we should define our own identity. We should not leave others, so-called intelligentsia, whether it is India, whether it is across Atlantic America, whether it is UK or whatever. We should be extremely clear and cautious when we accept certain identity. So I am not very comfortable with the identity called Dalit. The very clear Dalit means broken, but who wants to be called as broken? And how long should we be called as broken? And for how many generations should be grown with that identity? And then what kind of feelings that identity stokes in my body, stokes in my mind, is something which needs a very deeper discussion. So I think you have a lot of resources at your command. You have a lot of wherewithals, and then you have a lot of intellectual. You have a very good intellectual environment. Wherein a lot of research has already been done by, be it George Akerlof, be it Rachel Cranton, be it Priyanka Pandey, be it Carla Hubb, Joshua Aronson, Claude Steele. All these scientists done fantastic work on identities, and we should go back to research, and then we should go back to table, and then we should drawing board, and then we should really research on what should we be called. How do our future generations call themselves? So is something which I want you to seriously think about. This is very important, and for sure Dalit cannot be our perpetual identity. No, it cannot be. So if you are comfortable with the identity, or the word called Dalits, even after becoming PhDs, even after joining the US or UK, and then becoming great doctors, specialists, scientists, and professors, then software engineers, team leaders, and the presidents of the companies, and then still you want to be called as Dalit. I think there is something terribly wrong in the way we look at ourselves, and then terribly wrong the way we look at the concept called self-esteem. Now Sanjay clearly mentioned the life should be great, not long. Famous poet once said he wants to he wants to live, not just exist. How 200 350 but how million 350 million marginalized in this country, both SC, ST, BC, OBC, all put together around 400 marginalized in this country. How are they going to live, and what kind of world they are going to inherit, and what kind of identity they should have, and then what are the rituals, what are the practices, what are the ways of life which should be attached to that identity, is something which requires very deeper thinking, and then very deeper research. So I request the people across Atlantic, and then people who are in the Europe, and those friends who are in India. So I want them to think very deeply about it. The third thing which I was about to say was third thing which I wanted to say is, like, let us not restrict Babasaheb's ideas, ideologies, and the dreams, and his observations on the society in which he lived, and on the society he wanted for all of us, just to the idols and the slogans. I repeat. So Baba Saheb, for me, according to me, my understanding, Baba Saheb is beyond the idols, beyond the statues. He should be reflected more in statutes rather than statues. When I say statute, STA, that is the law. I'm not looking into statues, but statutes. So Baba Saheb should be reflected in beautiful and very well researched writings, critical thinking, and liberal ideas. Then being comfortable with diversity, and then treating everyone equal, and discovering something new, and many more things. A critical conversation in every home, a reflection, a conversation. So all these things should be happening in all the homes, all the time, in all the communities, and all the neighborhoods. Then only it is a real, Ambedkarism. But just to have a huge statue, then, and bring him down to only just a slogan called JB, is not going to help us. I have seen in my 20 or 26 years of so-called awakened life, I've seen many people who said JB did exactly opposite. So what does that JB mean? Does it mean that we should be the best in whatever we do? Does it mean that we should be comfortable with the people who are diametrically opposite views? Or does it mean that we should be helpful with the people? Does it mean that we should pay back to the communities? Or does it mean something which is more liberal, like what Baba Saheb mentioned in the preamble of Indian Constitution? So what does that mean? So my feeling is, my understanding, and then my aspiration about Baba Saheb, keeping Baba Saheb's ideas alive, is not to have more and more statues and yet remain poor and uninformed. I repeat, have more and more statues in our localities and yet remain poor and uninformed. Rather, I would say, remain informed, become prosperous, go to a different world, meet as many people as possible, and treat everyone equal. Try to treat everyone equal, and pay back to don't forget the roots, and pay back to the communities which have been responsible for whatever you are today. Then build a statue. Then it makes sense. But you can't be revolving around statues day in and day out, despite the fact that you continue to remain as poor. Today we have more number of Baba Saheb statues, but 75% of the landless in this country are scheduled castes. See the paradox. 60% of the prosperity is with 10% of the population. I repeat, 10% of the population. This is the latest data, damn latest data. 10% of the population wants the 60% of the prosperity in this country. And we are left with nothing practically. I'm coming from the village or countryside today, and then I could see that poverty, famished faces, and they know that they are going to die, and then they are young, but they are going to die because of starvation. And then they have no other idea. They are always on a constant survival mode because there is a fear of insecurity of losing a job, or uncertainty about wage, then uncertainty about health. Even if somebody falls sick, there is no money to go to a better hospital because public health systems are in shambles. In such cases, so I think Baba Saheb wanted us to understand and act, create a policy. And then Baba Saheb wanted us to understand where the power is, and then how that power can be used to solve all the problems that we have been facing for 3,000 years. Yet we restrict, we are in the race to have a bigger and bigger statues. For example, our Chief Minister of Telangana wanted to create 125 feet 125 feet, 125 feet worth Ambedkar statue. The taller. Narendra Modi created 3,000, meters or feet. I don't remember. So that is the statue. Yeah, 3,000 feet. The Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue. So our Chief Minister wanted to have a huge, 125 feet Dr. B.R Ambedkar statue. But see the tragedy is. Then on the other hand, the social welfare hostels, where the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe students are studying, both boys and girls, are without water, without proper accommodation. They are being treated as animals. And all the assigned lands, all the lands that are assigned to Dalits, for example, in Nizamabad district or many districts, have been snatched away to be given to the industrialists who belong to upper caste, wherein all the industries can be started, and then where our guys will not have any stake in those industries. So on one hand, the Chief Minister wants to make us happy by creating a huge Ambedkar statue. On the other hand, he is robbing our generations of their bright future. How do we see this? So that is why the ruling classes must know we are not enamored, we are not stupefied by these statue claims. How long, how big, how stout is our statue? No. And we are not like our Chief Minister also started saying JB. And then to be politically correct, everybody would say JB. And then our egos are massaged. On the other hand, our future is being robbed. Our children are not able to go to foreign countries because there is no scholarship. Our children are not getting scholarship regularly, and they are being kicked out of engineering colleges and medical colleges. Our mothers and then our fathers, when they go to government hospitals, they are not getting proper treatment, or even if they go to private hospitals, they are asking for more money, and our people don't have, and government is not willing to pay. And our people have gone to IITs, NITs, and the more medical colleges, but they have no money to pay the fees. And how long can we, gather money, and then how long can we, everybody contributes 1 cent, 2 cent, 10 cents, and then we feed the children? Are we not paying taxes? When we buy a kg of salt, when we buy a matchbox, when we buy a piece of cloth, or when you travel in a bus, or when you travel in when you watch a movie, everywhere, morning to evening, till you go to bed, you are paying taxes to the government, and then you are also a taxpayer. Then why is that we are begging, in spite of the fact that we are taxpayers in this country? That is the problem. So these are the real problems, and statues won't solve those problems. Please understand, statues should be built only when you are self-sufficient, when you feel contented. Then you go to the problem. Because statues only, I'm not saying I'm not against statues. What I'm trying to say is statues should be the second or third priority. The first priority is to grab that power that can solve your problems, is something which I deeply believe in. So that is one of the reasons why I always tell people, look, instead of this statue, please send 10 people this way, or please fund this political party which is very sincere, or please send as many people as possible, like our global NRIs, forum led by Rai Mantina, and then Venkat Maroj and all other friends. So we keep sending a lot of students to them, so that one day, probably, who knows, next guy, the guy who can, follow the path of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar could be from those kids whom we are trying to send from different parts of the state or different parts of the country. So I'm not saying you're not doing all this. You're doing, but we must intensify. But that is not going to be enough. Political power is the master key. With all the resources, we can probably gather about 10 crores. But with one stroke of pen, you can sanction 1,000 crores. Please remember this. I have worked as a Secretary of Social Welfare. The budget that was under my command was 1,400 crores per year. With one stroke of pen, I repeat, with one stroke of pen, we have created a medical college. We have created a law college. We have created a Sainik school for social welfare, Sainik school for tribal welfare. We created a fine arts college. We have created a Swerowood Film Academy. Okay, then we have made from 3 doctors to 360, 300. Every year we are producing about 300 doctors from the poorest of the poor kids. Most of them are scheduled castes, right? So with one stroke of pen, I'm telling you, with one stroke of pen, we have ensured that all the children get 2 times mutton and then 4 times chicken in their menu, because they have been famished. Their ancestors have been famished. They've been starved to death. So all this happens only when you have power. If I don't have that power, then I will be waiting outside the chambers of the secretary, and then I'll be waiting, patiently for his glimpse. Then how long should we do it? How long should we do it? We have been doing it for the last 75 years. This year we are celebrating 75th year of Indian independence. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. 75th year of Indian independence. Yet the dreams of Parama Pujya Dr B.R Ambedkar remains unfulfilled completely. Even if they are fulfilled in one part of the state, remaining 28 states in this country, they are not same. They are absolutely not same. So I feel I have seen enough of non-government activity. I have seen enough of government activity. I'm not saying they're not important. They are extremely important, but political power can solve a lot of problems. Show me one community, one Reddy, or one Rao, one Velama, or one Brahmin, or one Thakur, or one Kayastha who was killed in a custodial torture. Show me one case. I will show you 1,000 cases of Dalits being tortured, maimed, and then killed in custodies since independence. As recently as this year in Telangana, we had Mariamma, a poor old SC lady, was killed in the police custody because she was a woman and she was scheduled caste. On the other hand, today we had a lady called Silpa Chaudhary who belongs to dominant ruling class, and she's also accused of theft, robbery of crores of rupees magnitude. But she has very high-end lawyers around her to protect her, and she has media to protect her. She has media to give a live stream of what is happening to her in police lockup. I don't think she will be put in police lockup. So that is the difference. It doesn't require a rocket scientist to understand this difference. Those who have power can protect their communities, and power flows like that. That is how power dynamics work in the society. If my son or if my community man is the most powerful minister, the entire community, the entire departments, law enforcement department, think twice to lay their hands illegally on those people. When your community subjugates, your leaders subjugate, your leaders become chamchas, your leader becomes stooges in the hands of politicians, just waiting for the favors, small favors, then the entire community is taken for granted. So these are 4 issues I wanted you to, these are the 4 issues I wanted to share with you. And then till we achieve clarity, till we achieve a complete solution, our juggernaut of social justice, the fight for social justice, will roll on. And we will continue to fight, and then we will continue to inspire younger generations. And we need more and more youngsters without any confusion, without getting distracted, without getting influenced by the fake news, unleashed by the ultra-rightist agencies, to confuse our people, and then without getting tempted by the short-term goals. Short-term goals again, that laid as a part of the trap by the ruling classes. Only all these people have to be get inspired, and then we'll continue to fight till all our people get that clarity on what do we need. Should we continue to be what our ancestors were, or should we conform to the expectations of Dalit identity, which was imposed upon us till next century? What should we be? I think that is what our identities, our sense of identity will decide our destiny. So if you are not clear about your identity, if you don't know how to associate the rituals and the practices with that futuristic and then self-respect loaded identity, I don't think we are going to see the a brighter light at the end of the day. So thank you very much, Ambedkar International Center. So thank you very much, Sanjay, for giving me this opportunity, and then thank you very much, Archana, for bringing me in, and Ramakrishna again for bringing me in. And then I once again sorry. I feel sorry that there was some unwanted interruption. I think we have to learn lessons from that. But otherwise, the fight for social justice is on, and we will not give up till we achieve the success. And we need cooperation. And then I want to end this talk with a request. So we are looking for great ideas. Already Global NRM Forum is giving us a lot of ideas, a lot of support, and then we need more and more support. If you all can join hands with Global NRM Forum led by Mr. Roy Mantena and many others, Puriya Chauhan and then Venkat Maroju, it would be really nice, so that we can we can fight with more power and then more energies. So, and we also welcome a lot of ideas on fundraising, or the guerrilla, canvassing, or reaching out to masses at no time and practical at no cost. You have any ideas? Please do share with our brother Rai Mantena and Smita Dange, or anybody for that matter. So, thank you very, very much. I really love you all and I respect you all. And those who are in India, and then those are in Europe, and those are in the US, please take care. And I wish you all the very best. Jai Bhim.
I appreciate you, Sanjay ji, for introducing Praveen ji so nicely. I'm so thankful to you, Praveen ji, for being a guest of honor today. That was a wonderful speech. I hope it will inspire many. We appreciate all your hard efforts and wishing you all the good luck for your remaining work. Now we will have Professor Gaurav Patania taking over the Authors Lab award ceremony. Gaurav ji is an Ambedkarite socialist. He serves as an assistant professor at EMU at Harrisonburg. He himself is a writer, poet, activist, and won the National Poetry Award in 2016. He serves on the editorial board of South Asia Research Journal of the School of Oriental and African Studies, London. He is one of the final reviewer for the Authors Lab. Please go ahead, Gaurav ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Archana ji, and Jai Bhim, everyone. It's a great privilege to be on this platform with all of you who are part of this movement for equality. And it was great listening to such an inspiring talk of our Honorable Dr. Praveen ji. I'm going to briefly talk about Authors Lab, not taking much time because we already lost some time. So the idea of Authors Lab was initiated by a young fellow Ambedkarite, Mr. Siddharth Valicharla, a very dynamic Ambedkarite from California, along with our former AIC president, Mr. Takshak Chahande, and another honorable member, Anil Wagreji. They have been so supportive to his project and decided to come up with this idea of helping young writers who want to publish their writings by providing them financial support and intellectual mentorship so they can thrive in their writing career. Dear friends, our guest speaker, Dr. R.S. Praveen, has raised a very important point today, and about how do you want to identify yourself. My own experience since I moved to the US and meeting with a range of Ambedkarites, many of them actually claim themselves Bahujan, Dalit Bahujan, or called full Ambedkarites, and some define themselves as Ambedkarite Buddhist, and some also says as an anti-caste activist. So with all these kind of different ideas and beliefs, I think even with that variety, what binds all of these ideas, what brings all of these voices together, I can firmly say is the writings of Dr. Ambedkar. And these the idea that might, when we have an idea, ideas might disappear gradually if you don't document them. And if you don't write them and wait for someone else to write for you, then the other person might misrepresent you. And that's what happened in history. Dr. Ambedkar's life is the best example of this, that how from right to left ideologies, everyone attempted to present the image of Dr. Ambedkar through their own political and ideological lenses. But I can proudly say that if our fully Ambedkarite movement all around the globe is thriving today, it's because of our clear understanding of our mission and slogan of Babasaheb Ambedkar, that educate, unite, and agitate. When you look at Babasaheb's life, one after the other, monthly to weekly newspapers, books, speeches, drafts, and then the Constitution, he never stopped writing. And therefore, it is his writings that gave India the idea of equality, fraternity, and sovereignty, for which we all stand by. If we have a global Ambedkarite movement today, it is because of his writing. Today, AIC has become part of this larger struggle, especially after the Cisco case, that to bring caste into the goal is to bring caste into the legal discourse of the US. And here again, Babasaheb's writing, the power of his writing, keep guiding us, enlightening us. And in this regard, AIC decided to inculcate the writing culture and the kind of and also kind of becoming the and encourage more writing from our young scholars who have a lot to say, lot to contribute through their research, through their imagination in forms of fiction and non-fiction, their stories and their narratives, and there is a dire need to document them in a form of book. And AIC is promising to help the authors to promote their books on global platform. So, and I personally strongly believe that books should be part of our culture. And I think, as Praveen rightly mentioned, that we have so many statues, and are we actually doing justice with Ambedkar? And I strongly believe that it's the book that will bring change. Book should be part of our culture, our society. Who are we living in? Who's living in actually den of ignorance perpetuated by the caste system? So that way, I think books should be part of our celebrations. And as I said, that how books are the only gift that you can open again and again. And we also should start this tradition to, on our birthdays, on our celebration, we should give book as a gift. So now not taking much time, without no further delay, I would like to thank Authors Lab team, Takshakji, Anil Wagde, and along with our president, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Vice President, Vice President Rakesh Guptaji, and the honorable board members, Mahinder, Mahesh, and Ramakrishna ji, and our secretary, Archana ji. And I would also want to thank my fellow Ambedkarite, Mr. Sumit Anand, who helped the reviewers and AIC to finalize this list of the award-winning author. Now, I just want to quickly show you the site of Ambedkar. So these were our reviewers, and a very big thanks and sincere gratitude to our reviewers, Mr. Tejas, Dr. Prerna Khobararge, and Rachel Chandran, and Yogesh Matre. And these, they have done a lot of work going through every manuscript and finalizing. And we also have, I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to our writing doula, writing coach, Linda Jones from Texas, who unfortunately couldn't join us, but who conducted a very special workshop and taught us how to be self-reflexive. So, and We also have Sujata Gidla along with me, who would be doing the final mentorship. And I also want to thank her for being here. So, and now we have received, I just want to tell you that we have received more than 24 promising entries, and it was a very tough decision to select 3 of them. And I must mention that many of these literary entries will make a great book, and I really encourage them to reapply to Authors Lab the next call that we are bringing soon this year. So now with me, let's put our hands together for our winners. So I'm announcing the name, and you please, the winner should actually keep their video on. So the first one is, I mean, they're all at the same level, but 3 entries that we selected. So first is Dr. Bharat Rathore. Bharat Rathore has recently completed his doctoral degree in international education from University of Massachusetts. And over the last decade, Bharat has been associated with young youth mentoring activities to promote higher education among the Bahujan communities in India. Bharat has been associated with community development initiative in Gujarat and also engaged with civil society organizations in India and also in the US. He has been serving as a member in the board of directors in this India Civil Watch International, ICWI. And our reviewer has selected Bharat as a winner because of the very rigorous research work, which will come out in the book form, which titled as Dalit Academic Experience, Caste, Stigma, and Exclusion in Indian Higher Education. So congratulations, Bharat. And the second winner that review committee has selected is Sweta. Sweta is a non-binary trans Dalit freelance writer based in Delhi. Sweta's education in social work and gender studies and writing interest lies in gender and sexuality, race, caste, and mental health. They are also exploring alternative methods of healing and body therapies. And having lived across different countries as they grew up, Sweta is now delving into anti-caste culture through local travel, food, music, and cultural movement. And the book actually she proposed was called Trans as Humans. And her work basically untangles the complexities between gender and caste questions at a time when Hindutva ideology has widely spread violence and hate globally. So I think it's an important work. So congratulations, Sweta, a big hand to you. And now the third winner is Inakshi Biswas, who won the Tagore International Film Award in March 2021 this year, and for her debut web series treatment, and also nominated for the Son of the East Award, April this year. She is a scriptwriter, while her non-fiction articles on trending topics, contemporary issues can be found on Your Story and Youth Kia Watch, and feminist articles on platforms like Her World India and Women's Web. She's also part of the Art and Mind Project 2020. So with all these, can you show? Please turn your video on for a minute so we can all see you. So let's but we on behalf of AIC, I congratulate you all, and so Authors Lab will soon reach out to all of you and will work with you guys, offering logistic support in the form of a fellowship, intellectual support in the form of mentoring, and eventually publishing your book under AIC Publishing House. And once again, I thank the review committee, thank AIC for making Authors Lab one of their star projects and wholeheartedly supporting it. With these words, I thank you all for tuning in today, and I hand over the session back to Archana ji. Jai Bhim.
Thank you so much, Gaurav ji. And heartiest congratulations to all our talented winners. Now I would like to invite Mahesh ji to speak. Maheshji is from New Jersey, longtime member of AIC. He has been serving the board for a second term. He was also a secretary in the previous term. Originally from Hyderabad, he's a software engineer. Please go ahead, Maheshji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Archana ji. I've been given opportunity to talk about why join Dr. Ambedkar's mission and relevance of Dr. Ambedkar in today's world. With my lens, with my limited view of whatever I learned from my life and what I have discussions with my fellow community members. Now I'm resisting to use the word Dalit here, but I would use our community members. And with the other side, which are not our community members, so-called, the other classes or the oppressor classes, if I may. I hold open discussions. So I've captured my thoughts. So with that said, when we talk of Dr. Ambedkar, how do we define him? How do we see him? Whenever I ask, I've listed all these characteristics while defining or referring Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Although he cannot be coined in a single statement, with so much of multifaceted personality and so many areas of exemplary contributions. When one talks of Dr. Ambedkar, people explain as he was an anthropologist or an economist or a lawyer. In the sense that sometimes I feel that when people refer to Dr. Ambedkar as a Dalit leader, sometimes I think it's unfair. The reason why I say is his contribution is just not limited to Dalit upliftment. His contribution has been in the areas of economics, in the world of law, in the world of, not many people know when I discuss with the other side, including our community of women, that the women hereditary rights was because of his work. He resigned for that to happen. And many of the non-community women, when I speak to my colleagues here in USA, they are shocked that it is because of his work women in India have achieved the right. So these debates have been having. When we talk of race debates within USA, I take that opportunity in the group to sway the conversation towards caste-based discrimination with my fellow Indians here, and have a fruitful conversation, to see their point of view also. So continuing on the characteristics of defining or explaining Dr. Ambedkar, at his time, he was an outlier, an exemplary human being. We all know he was a great scholar. One of the researchers that papers I was reading, a speech given by Dr. David Mosey, I think. I like the way he explained or put it in his words, called scientists of society. Dr. Ambedkar was indeed, he was a scientist of society. He has done immense research on human behavior and how the whole society works. Obviously, it shows his work in his work of he being the architect of Indian Constitution. Such a wonderful guidelines he has given to India, that it is because of his work that India is stable, but we continue to fight for the discrimination. With that said, continuing on, why is Dr. Ambedkar or Dr. Ambedkar's philosophy or mission, why is it relevant today? I've captured these 3 points. There are many more. In the interest of time, I am going to expedite. Wherever discrimination, whenever, at whatever timeline exists, his mission, his philosophy is applicable. In the Indian context, we talk of Dalit discrimination. Archana, I think there is some member is doing some. Anyway, wherever discrimination exists, his philosophy, his fight for injustice is applicable. Biased thinking against either caste-based, race-based, against any background, his model or his framework is always applicable. So his thought process is not only applicable for Indian context, but if you take Ambedkar's thought process as a template and move it to any part of the world where there is discrimination, it is applicable. In fact, because my background, most of our background is in science, I can say that the framework that has been put, it's not only applicable to just race-based, wherein it's not, relatively speaking, not that complex when compared to Indian caste-based discrimination. I like the way the analogy Ira Wilkerson put it in her caste book called, she draws out that if sheetrock of a house is race, then the studs and the joists of the house are caste and varna, whatever. So caste-based discrimination is much more involved, and the framework that Dr. Ambedkar put is applicable and can be applied to any form of discrimination in the world. And hence, I think that his philosophy, his mission is relevant today. Dr. Ambedkar is relevant to the world today, not just India, but anywhere where the discrimination exists. Such a tall personality, such a understated, I would say undersold. The reason why I say undersold is Indian schooling system has failed. That's because in the Indian elementary schooling system, there is no mention of such things. The proper context of the discrimination is not properly taught. So it's I call upon organizations such as AIC and other organizations that subscribe to Ambedkar's philosophy, that we should lobby to have a mandatory course to introduce Ambedkar's life cycle as one of the mandatory subjects in the Indian elementary school. Our homeschooling, our Indian elementary schooling is all flawed. We introduced Dr. Ambedkar's work only later in life, and that too in non-elementary phase of life, which is unjustified. By that time, a kid's mind is already formed with certain biased thinking at home and elsewhere. So we need to work on that. And then to end my talk, why join Ambedkar's organization? May it be any organization that subscribes to Ambedkar's philosophy, such as AIC or other organizations. You can join, contribute. I personally have constructive debates with my fellow Indians who are not from our community always, to understand their side. I take that opportunity as to educate them, one of which is this women's right and achievements of Dr. Ambedkar in the field of economics, may it be the reference of problem with rupee or his contribution towards, not many people know that he has written a book on water resources development in India, how dams should be collected, how the rivers should flow. Not many know. So such immense work needs to be needs to be, socialized, and not just reduce, in my opinion, Dr. Ambedkar as a Dalit leader. He was multifaceted. We need to join the organizations to collectively voice against injustice, discrimination. Yes, at a personal level, you can only scale up to a certain point. As Dr. Praveen Kumar said, politics is, I personally, I still view, I see negative connotations of political thing. I still feel that there is a negative stigma that I need to overcome of politics. I completely agree with Dr. Praveen Kumar that politics power is the major factor of changing our community's future. I fully support him. I fully support the statement that Dr. Praveen Kumar has mentioned. I hope he is listening. After his speech, my talk, 8-minute talk, it looks like showing candle to the sun. Anyway, I wanted to air my thoughts. I always remember, we are because he was. And with that said, I'm going to end my talk. I think I've taken more than 8 minutes. I thank AIC for giving me the opportunity to talk. And it's been immense pleasure and heart satisfying experience to be part of AIC. Thank you, Jai Bhim. Over to you, Archana.
Thank you, Maheshji. Now, may I please invite Rakeshji for a vote of thanks. Rakeshji currently is a Vice President of AIC and is always there whenever board needed. Please, may I request you, Rakeshji, go ahead. Thank you.
Our today's guest of honor, Dr. R.S. Praveen, AIC members, donors, volunteers, Venerable Bhante Revta, and all the participants joined from North America, UK, Canada, India, and from other countries, if joined any. Good morning, good evening, and Jai Bhim to everyone. At the outset, on behalf of AIC, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. R.S. Praveen for taking out time from his, from his very busy schedule and connected to us to share his views. It was a wonderful speech and indeed an inspiration and a good source of motivation for all of us. Thanks again, Dr. Praveen, for your valuable time. Thank you, Professor Gaurav, for conducting the prize ceremony in recognizing winners of AIC Authors Lab. And thanks to the whole team of AIC Authors Lab for bringing up such a wonderful concept to help authors from our community. And again, I would like to congratulate all the winners, all the 3 winners. Thanks, Sanjay Kumar, our AIC Vice President, for a wonderful introduction of Dr. Praveen. Indeed, we are highly motivated by his work, and Dr. Praveen is a gem of our community, no doubt. Thanks to our second speaker, Mahesh Guruvanti from AIC Board. Thanks, Maheshji, for sharing your views in today's meeting. And it's a more relevance why we should join Ambedkar's Babasaheb movement. Archana Gedam, our AIC secretary. Thanks, Archana ji, for hosting the event. And the good point was that keeping the time within the schedule, that was very important indeed. And thanks to the entire team of AIC who worked starting from its planning of the event and up to the implementation. And I think we still have some work of uploading some recorded to social media. I think it was an overwhelming response. I saw that it was around 150 at the peak, or maybe a little more participants joined this event. My sincere thanks to all the participants for virtually connected to us via today's event. We appreciate your valuable time. Your presence is a big support in making today's event a grand success. And also, thanks for your curiosity. I think few have posed questions, and so thanks again, all the participants. It was a big encouragement to AIC to move forward conducting events in future. Together, we will strive hard to make our dreams come true. Just to remind, please join our AIC Global Connect membership